You wake up with a fever and reach for a pill. You don't think twice about it. Someone else in your household might catch what you have, so you stay in your room, maybe wear a mask, maybe just wait it out. It feels like basic common sense. But the real story behind how humans respond to sickness is far stranger than common sense. Because for most of human history, there were no pills, no doctors, no germ theory. And yet, when someone in the group got sick, something happened that shaped the entire trajectory of the human species. Picture a small band of early humans, maybe 20 or 30 people, moving together across the landscape. Every member matters. There is no surplus of hunters, no extra gatherers standing by. When one person falls ill, the group faces an immediate and brutal calculation. Do you slow down for them? Do you leave them behind? Do you risk everyone else getting sick too? For decades, anthropologists assumed the answer was simple. Sick or injured group members were abandoned because evolution supposedly favors only the strong. But the fossil record tells a very different story, and it's one that changes what we think we know about ancient compassion. In 1957, archaeologists uncovered the remains of a Neanderthal known as Shanidar I, found in a cave in what is now Iraq. This individual had suffered a withered arm, likely blind in one eye, and had lost hearing in one ear, injuries that would have made him nearly useless as a hunter. And yet the skeleton showed these injuries had healed years before death. Someone fed him, someone protected him, someone let him stay. Eric Trinkhaus, a paleoanthropologist who has spent much of his career studying Neanderthal remains, has argued that cases like Shanidar I reveal a level of social care previously thought impossible for archaic humans. This wasn't an isolated case either. Multiple Neanderthal skeletons show healed fractures, missing limbs, and long-term disabilities that would have been fatal without sustained help from others. So why would a group burdened by scarce resources choose to keep an injured member alive? The answer connects to something deeper than kindness. It connects to information. Older or injured members of a group, even those who could no longer hunt or gather effectively, carried something invaluable in their heads. Memories of droughts survived decades earlier, knowledge of which plants were poisonous and which could heal a wound, awareness of migration patterns across multiple seasons that a younger hunter had never personally witnessed. In a world with no written language, a person's memory was the only library the group had access to. Losing them meant losing decades of accumulated survival knowledge in an instant. Anthropologist Kristen Hawkes, known for her research into the evolutionary role of grandparents, has proposed what's often called the grandmother hypothesis. Her research suggests that older individuals, particularly post-reproductive women, provided such significant childcare and food-gathering support that groups with surviving elders had a measurable survival advantage over groups without them. Sickness and injury, then, weren't simply personal misfortunes. They were events that threatened the survival of an entire information network the group depended on. But care for the sick wasn't only about strategic value. There's evidence it went further than pure calculation. At Cima de los Huesos in Spain, researchers discovered the remains of a child, nicknamed Benjamina, who lived with a severe skull deformity called craniosynostosis. This condition would have caused developmental delays and likely made the child unable to contribute meaningfully to group survival at all. And yet, Benjamina lived to around the age of 8. Cared for despite offering no clear practical benefit to the group. This suggests something that goes beyond cold calculation. It suggests a form of care that existed for its own sake, independent of what someone could give back. This raises a fascinating question about the origins of something you might take for granted today. Why do you feel compelled to check on a sick friend even when there's no clear benefit to you? Why does watching someone suffer trigger an almost automatic urge to help, even a stranger? The instinct didn't appear recently. It's ancient, and it may be one of the very traits that allowed the human species to survive long stretches of history that should have wiped out smaller, less cooperative populations entirely. Of course, ancient humans weren't naive about the risks of illness. Evidence from various prehistoric sites suggests that certain contagious conditions triggered a different kind of response altogether. Isolation. In some cases, individuals suspected of carrying dangerous or unexplainable illnesses were separated from the group, sometimes housed at the edges of settlements, sometimes left in caves away from the main camp.